Well, are we doing open discussion now?
I said I didn't want to do cross-examination.
You don't want to talk to me? Why did you come here tonight? Let's talk.
That sounds scary.
It's
the open dialogue section, so you're welcome to
We are
ask
open
Lila as
dialogue.
well.
Suzanne. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I'm just messing.
Ooh, she does not want to talk to Lila. She is scared. And you know, if I were her, I would be scared too. Hi, my name is Margaret Mordahl. Welcome to my channel, Virtue Lies in the Middle, where we discuss current topics and try to remain as balanced as possible. Today, we are continuing with our series, Have Leftists Just Given Up on Abortion? I will be reacting to clips from a debate between Lila Rose, pro-life, and Suzanne Lambert, pro-choice. Again, I will link the full hour-and-a-half debate in the description if you would like to check it out. The topic of this debate is, should abortion be legal? Let's check out our first clip.
I applied to Georgetown and didn't get in, but I still made it back one way or another. Won't she do it? The question before us is whether or not the government should be able to force someone to have a child. My answer is a resounding no. Abortion should be legal. But I haven't always felt that way. In fact, I spent more of my life being anti-choice than I have pro-choice. I was vehemently against abortion. I would have been outraged at me even being invited on this campus. That all changed the day I joined the club no woman ever wants to be in. Women who see a result on a pregnancy test that they don't want. I still remember how it felt when I saw that positive result, my heart lurching to my stomach, dropping to my knees on the speckled linoleum floor of my shoebox apartment that I could barely afford. Amidst all the emotions and thoughts whirring in my brain, soon a thought stood on its own, more prominent than the rest. A thought with measured confidence. I want to have an abortion. And just like that, all of the years of being anti-choice, of knowing what I would do if I were ever in that situation, which of course I wouldn't be, right? Because I was different. I wasn't like those other girls with the blue hair or broken homes or bad choices. I was different. All those years of certainty, of knowing what's best for others, more than they knew what's best for themselves. It all came undone immediately, instantly. Because it's one thing to talk about it on a debate stage or a Facebook status. It's quite another to live it.
Okay, so she was apparently pro-life. Very pro-life, until she had an unwanted pregnancy and became pro-choice and had an abortion. I think what she's going for here is that you shouldn't judge someone until you've walked a mile in their shoes, and that pro-lifers are just pro-life because it hasn't happened to them yet. But all I can think was that she couldn't have been that pro-life if her first thought after a positive pregnancy test was to get an abortion. All it really shows to me is that she's very squishy on her morals and ready to abandon them as soon as they are tested. In which case, why should I listen to her now? Let's move on.
I have a question for Suzanne would be, you mentioned that there's disagreement about when life begins. And I guess my question for you, there are studies that are cited where 96% of biologists do agree that human life biologically does in fact begin at conception. So I'm curious, do you have other proof, or what would proof look like if that is not proof?
I don't want to see those sources, I think. I haven't heard of there being a scientific consensus of life beginning at conception, and I'm not a scientist, so I don't necessarily want to circumvent, the overall overarching scientific opinion. I mean, there are certainly limitations to where I personally think abortion should occur, but again, it becomes a matter of, are my personal opinions relevant to this discussion? I think this discussion is more so about, should it be legal for the government to compel you to have a kid? And my answer there is no.
So she just didn't really have an answer there to this pretty basic question, when does life begin? She just repeats her opinion that abortion should be legal, right after saying her opinion doesn't matter. And this is pretty much Suzanne's, I don't even want to say tactic, more coping mechanism throughout this debate. She states her opinion isn't relevant, and then she says, as her answer to every question, that abortion should be legal without providing any real reasons as to why, which is still just her opinion. I mean, I guess she has to get through this debate one way or another. Next clip.
Abortion should be illegal. Should abortion ever
I don't
be
think
illegal?
abortion should ever be illegal, no.
Okay. So you support abortion in any case at any time in pregnancy legally?
Me personally?
Your position
from a
tonight.
legal standpoint?
Your position in this debate, whether you consider that a personal position or the one you're portraying.
I don't know
what's your
that that's
position?
relevant.
Well,
My
that's we're
position is I
debating
don't
it.
think-
It's pretty relevant.
My position is I don't think the government should be able to force you to have a kid that you don't want to have.
So you don't think abortion should ever be illegal? You can just say it if that's your position.
That's not necessarily what I'm saying.
What are you saying?
Again, my personal opinion is different than my
What's your
stance.
opinion in this debate?
I feel like I've answered that
What is it?
ad nauseum,
Wait, what is it? Just to make sure I'm tracking.
which is the government should not be able to compel you to have a kid that you don't want.
So just to be clear, does that mean abortion should never be legal, in your view? When you say compel you to have a kid, because you could say what you just said, compel you to have a kid you
Now
didn't
you
want
lost
about a
me.
1-year-old.
Abortion should never be legal? That's not what I'm saying.
No, should abortion always be?
I didn't get in here, okay?
What do you support? Do you support the government fully permitting abortion, or do you think some abortions should be illegal?
I think I support what the first option.
Okay, all right.
think
So I'm going to go with I'm going to go with you are saying the government should never restrict abortion. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, I'm glad we established that.
So cringe. But Lila more or less finally got her to pinpoint her position. She put up a good fight trying not to commit to a position. And the reason she's trying so hard to avoid committing is because she really doesn't have any points to back up her claim that abortion should be legal. She just wants to say that abortion should be legal without even going into what that actually looks like. The rest of the debate is pretty much the same. Lots of trying to avoid talking to Lila, lots of nothing. If you haven't yet, I recommend watching my other 2 videos in this series. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.